So sometimes things are tricky, you know what I mean? And it's a little bit more difficult than just making the fight happen. But like I said, I'm pushing to make the biggest and best fights happen.
Could the so-called Mexican monster, the same fighter who spent years chasing a shot at Canelo, really have backed away from a massive fight against today's pound-for-pound #1, Terence Crawford?
He tweeted after the Canelo-Crawford fight, asking like, hey, could you maybe come down to 168?
But just as the hype exploded, David Benavidez quickly shut everything down himself. His explanation shocked fans, but the real story behind his decision shows a calculated move that completely shifts how we see his future. This wasn't just a career choice, it was his way of closing the door on the past and setting the stage for a new chapter. And Benavidez is ready to fight his battles on different ground. The night of September 13th had already been electric, with Terence "Bud" Crawford pulling off the impossible by moving up in weight and dominating the legendary Canelo Alvarez.
He hurt Canelo a couple of times, and he looked spectacular. Congratulations to Terence Crawford for that great performance, and man, it was a great fight.
Were you expecting more from Canelo?
I was expecting a lot more. I was expecting Canelo to knock out Crawford, to be honest with you, because it's a three-weight divisions. Well, he did fight one time at a higher division, but and to me, it's three weights, He had to go up a lot in weight, and that's what I was expecting. But at the end of the day, I got to give respect to Canelo. He has done so much in boxing that it will be hard for somebody else to achieve and make. He trained hard, and he said that he tried, but the body did not respond. And I've been saying that, the body is worn out. Canelo is young, but in boxing life, he's worn out.
As the boxing world was still trying to absorb Crawford's brilliant win, His Excellency Turki Alashik jumped straight onto social media and asked one simple question. Can David Benavidez still make 168 pounds? And just like that, a fantasy matchup instantly turned into a real possibility. Benavidez, undefeated, a two-time champion, and owner of a terrifying 30-0 record with 24 knockouts, was the division's most feared name, the fighter many felt Canelo avoided for years. A showdown between Crawford's elite skill and Benavidez's raw power suddenly looked like the perfect, must-see fight. The fans wanted it, the money was waiting, and the sport's biggest power broker was openly hinting at it.
I said to you earlier, I think Terence is really funny. I love the way he lives his life. I love the way he brings his kids. If you watch his kids with the wrestling and stuff like that, he's just a winner. And I feel that, you got guys who are really, really, really good, and they're not really hell-bent on becoming a star. I put you in that category. I put Terence in that category. Maybe Shakur, where they feel like they don't really want to, Terence ain't bothered about going to premieres and, being on the front cover of magazines and stuff like that. But unfortunately, in the business, we have to try and make sure he has that kind of value commercially. So it's getting the narrative and the moments right to just showcase his personality.
But what looked like a dream matchup quickly turned into a confusing dead end. David Benavidez shut down the rumors with a level of certainty no one could misread. In an interview with Fight Hub TV, he made his stance crystal clear. He was finished with the super middleweight division.
Plan is after this fight, I want to go down to 154. No, bro. I'm done with cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight.
I want to use this moment to give Crawford his respect. He deserves it. What he did was incredible. He's right up there with the all-time greats. Let Crawford enjoy his success, because I'm not interested in fighting him, and I'm not going back to 168. I'm focused on moving up to cruiserweight, and that's where my career is headed now.
I want to take this opportunity, though. Yes, I say cruiserweight. I want to take this opportunity to, congratulate Crawford. He put a hell of a performance. He's up there in the Mount Rushmore of the greatest fighters of all time. And, let Crawford do his thing, bro. At the end of the day, I have no interest in fighting Crawford. I have no interest in going down to 168. Yeah, it's nice that it would be dope winning all titles, but I'm way past that at 168.
His message couldn't have been clearer. This wasn't a strategy or a bargaining move. It was a firm decision. He shut the door completely when he added, I wouldn't even go back to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being honest with you. Crawford is the man at 168 now. That's his division. I'm finished with that weight.
The only reason I wouldn't even go down to 168 for Canelo, and I'm just being real with you, and let Crawford do his thing. Let him have his, let him. I want to give his flowers, man, because he's a great fighter, man. When there's no other fighter that's coming up from 147 to beat a type of fighter like Canelo at 168, and Crawford, he's one of the greatest of all time. So, I have no interest in going down to 168. I'm not saying that I'm scared of Crawford or whatever, but Crawford's a man at 168. That's his weight class. I'm done with 168.
When asked if even a massive $120 million offer could bring him back, he shut it down immediately. His refusal made one thing clear: this decision wasn't about money. It was about something far more important to him.
As a business, David, if they throw 100 million, 120 million to go down for either or, would you second?
120 million sounds good, but honestly, at the end of the day, no. No. Say no to 100 million. But they won't give 120 million. I don't even think Canelo got 120 million for fighting Crawford, to be honest with you. But no, man, I'm done with it.
The real reason behind Benavidez's choice goes much deeper than the tough weight cut. It marks a strategic shift toward a bigger, more ambitious stage in his career. He's not backing away from a fight. He's moving toward a completely different challenge.
Throw whatever money they want at me. And my job is not only to get the money. My job is to give myself the best chance to win and to give myself the best chance of looking good.
Benavidez has moved up to light heavyweight at 175 pounds, setting his sights on the division's top fighters. His next target is a high-stakes clash with Britain's Anthony Yarde, a fight scheduled to take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia.
Let me know how this fight came about, because I was surprised that you went this route with Yarde.
Yeah, so there was a lot of options on the table. Obviously we wanted to get a great fight because the last fight with me and David Morrell lived up to expectation. I think it exceeded expectations. So we wanted to give the fans a good fight. We were in line for Bivol for the belts, but unfortunately that didn't happen. So we were looking, to get a crowd-pleasing fight, and we're trying to fight the best in the division of 175. If it's not the champions, we want to fight the next best guys. We're looking at some options, but the only one that really manifested itself was the fight with Anthony Yarde, and I think this is a crowd-pleasing fight. Anthony Yarde, he's a great fighter. He still has a ton of fight in him. He's been in there with Archer Beterbiev, Kovalev. So he's been up there with, the top guys. And I feel like this is probably going to be the most he comes prepared for any fight because he's lost his last two title fights. And, I feel like he knows that this is probably the last opportunity. Not his last opportunity, but this is, he has to take advantage of this opportunity. So I'm not taking Anthony Yarde lightly. I know he has a dog in him. I know he has a lion in him, but, I have the lion in me as well. So this is going to be a perfect fight for my first fight with Riyadh.
He views this as his opportunity not just to become a global star, but also as a crucial step toward reaching the very top of the 175-pound division.
I said I'm very grateful for this, and not only am I grateful for fighting with Riyadh season, but I'm grateful because I don't want to just be a regional fighter. I want to be a worldwide fighter, and this is the first time that I'm going to fight in a different country in Saudi Arabia. So this is going to be a little. It's going to be a gift for the fans in Saudi Arabia. When I went over there the first time to see Bivol and Beterbiev fight, a lot of people show love, and I know I have a lot of fans out there. So, this is going to be a great fight for all the fans in Saudi Arabia.
Benavidez is confident a win is coming and believes it will set him up to face the division's top champions, Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev. For him, building a legacy isn't about returning to the division he once dominated. It's about taking on the toughest challenges ahead. He's chasing true greatness, not just big paydays, and he sees that greatness at light heavyweight.
In this weight division, 175 pounds, you have the undisputed champion in Dimitri Bivol, who's reigning, but he has we think a rubber match with Artur Beterbiev scheduled at some point. Has it been told to you, David, that if you win this fight, you're going to get a crack at either Bivol or Beterbiev?
Yeah, it's not. They haven't told me specifically that, but just in the trajectory of what I'm doing, what I am. I'm world champion at 175 with the WBC, so it's inevitable. It's just when it's gonna happen. I take my career one fight at a time. I don't really let other fights kind of get into my brain. I'm getting ready for Anthony Yarde. I'm 100% focused on Anthony Yarde, and whatever comes next comes next. But as for what I'm thinking of, that's what else is there left? What other fights you guys want to see me fight? You know what I mean? Especially that we're here with Turkey Al-Sheikh. We're getting these fights done. In my opinion, a fight with Benavidez or Bivol is next. You know what I mean?
But Benavidez wasn't the only one closing the door on this potential mega fight. In a surprising turn, Terence Crawford's team showed no interest either. Crawford's respected trainer, Brian "Bo" McIntyre, quickly dismissed the idea that Benavidez was next. When asked about the matchup, he didn't hesitate. "No, we ain't doing that fight." He made it clear their focus was on letting Crawford rest and recover after an intense 6-month training camp for the Canelo fight.
We're going to get back in the gym. And we're going to assess that. And, you know, right now I just want him to go on vacation, have some fun, spend time with his family, man, because we trained for like probably a half a year for that fight. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of time spent away from home, a lot of time spent away from the family. So I just want him to just go get back home.
He wanted Crawford to take a break, enjoy a vacation, and spend time with his family, rather than rush into talks for another tough fight. Bo Max's remarks revealed an important truth. This matchup was never seriously on Crawford's team's radar. The story wasn't just about Benavidez turning down the fight. It was about two top fighters heading in completely different directions, with neither camp seeing the other as part of their immediate plans.
There's still a need for Benavidez.
Who, Canelo?
Turkey, people are talking about it.
Turkey hinted at that. He was like Benavidez.
Yeah, he
Turkey,
did.
so-
Turkey just posted that this morning, wondering if Benavidez can make 168. Maybe he has plans or ideas of maybe trying to match up Benavidez and Terence Crawford.
No,
there.
man. We ain't doing that fight.
Maybe planning on vacating the belts.
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts. You know, we just gonna sit where we need to sit for a minute, and then, just like I said, get back in the gym.
To understand Benavidez's mindset, you have to consider the long, frustrating shadow of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo was bigger, younger, and relentless, and many saw Benavidez as the one fighter he genuinely avoided. That years-long fruitless chase seems to have left Benavidez disillusioned with the entire 168-pound division. His move up isn't just a career decision, it's an emotional release. He's done waiting and ready to focus on new challenges.
I think the type of person that Canelo is, he's going to be, oh, well, I didn't prepare for that fight, but now I'm prepared, this and that. You know, there's another storyline behind that. Because of the way he lost. He didn't go in there and get just beat up and destroyed the whole fight. It just didn't look like he prepared at all. And the fighter that was prepared, was Crawford. So, there could still be a big storyline, 175. Like I said, he could say, oh, well, now I'm motivated. Now I have a reason to train, now this and that. And it'll be a title fight for 175. So, everything is still possible right now. Then Canelo, what is he, like 35?
He's still, I think he's 33.
33, yeah. And then imagine Crawford was 38. So, I mean, I don't, I'm not focused on Canelo. I got my own stuff going on. But if there might be a way to make that fight happen. So, like I said, I'm not really worried about that. I'm just thinking about the fighters I got to take.
Seeing Crawford defeat the man he could never face in the ring may have been the final confirmation for Benavidez. He felt Crawford approach the fight with full focus, while Canelo let his ego take over and didn't prepare properly. By walking away from 168, Benavidez is closing the Canelo chapter for good, choosing to forge a new path instead of staying in a division defined by a fight that never happened.
Money that Canelo was making, and I know all these people say, oh yeah, talking shit about Canelo. I'm not talking shit about him. He just didn't look like he really prepared 100%. He's throwing 10 punches around, or I think it was his ego is that big that he thought that, oh, I'm just gonna walk through him, catch him with a good shot, and it's gonna be done. As you can see, Crawford is a different type of fighter. Not only has he had the boxing IQ, he has that dog in him. He was in there. He was brawling. If I'm being honest with you, bro, I'm not happy that he lost. I kind of felt like that could have been me. That was my moment. You know what I mean? If I would have gone in there, I know I would have beat him. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be a hater, but that's kind of how I feel. But you know what I mean? I give all the flowers to Crawford. You know what I mean?
That should have been me in there. That should have.
This resolute stance also reflects a profound personal transformation. Benavidez is no longer the reckless young fighter who made headlines for the wrong reasons. He has openly acknowledged past mistakes and the criticisms that once shadowed him, emerging from that fire stronger, sharper, and more focused. He credits much of this growth to a renewed sense of purpose rooted in prayer and meditation, striving to live a righteous life not just for his career, but as a devoted father and husband. This newfound maturity has given him a crystal-clear perspective on his goals. He is driven by the desire to be the best, to build a lasting legacy, and refuses to let external noise, fleeting opportunities, or distractions sway him from that mission. His decision to turn down a fight with Crawford isn't arrogance or ego. It is the calculated, disciplined choice of a man who knows exactly who he is and where he is going, both inside the ring and in life beyond it.
Spar with Bevo.
And you were younger.
I was 22. From seeing what I did to him in those sparring sessions, I'm very confident I'll win. But I'm not gonna, be a fool and just use confidence as the 100% fuel. I'm gonna go in there and work extremely hard.
You're looking to go up to 175 pounds and potentially get the winner out of Benavidez and Bevo.
That's why I want to be a part of these big fights too, because as you know, both you guys know, once you get a really good fighter in front of you, the training camp is different. The mentality is different. And when you get in that ring, you shine. That's what I want for myself. I want to be put in them hard positions where you have to use 100% of your skills. And that's why I feel like the best will come out of me. So I'm not scared of it. So whatever it is, even if light heavyweight isn't my final destination, I really want to go up to cruiserweight.
Ooh, so that's cruiserweight, just another, you're a weight class away from going to actual heavyweight.
Yeah. But, we're going to move one step at a time. We got light heavyweight. That's a division I've been wanting to go to for a long, long time.
So, with the dream fight against Crawford off the table, what bold new path is ahead for the Mexican powerhouse? Benavidez's ambitions stretch beyond light heavyweight. If his planned matchups with Bivol or Beterbiev don't happen, he has a striking backup plan. Moving up again to the 200-pound cruiserweight division for a massive showdown with fellow Mexican Zordo Ramirez. He sees a clash between two Mexican power punchers of that caliber as a guaranteed war and a huge event that would thrill fans worldwide. This daring strategy highlights his commitment to taking on the toughest challenges, regardless of weight class. He isn't interested in easy paydays or exhibition bouts. He is on a focused mission to win world titles and secure his place among the all-time greats, willing to venture into entirely new territory to achieve ITSO. The dream fight is dead, not because of promoters or politics, but by the choice of one man. David Benavidez has deliberately turned away from the glamour and hype of a super fight with Crawford, instead charging headfirst into the fierce, shark-infested waters of the light heavyweight division. Some may call it a duck, a calculated move to avoid a technical battle he might not win, while others see it as the ultimate power play, a fighter rejecting the path everyone expected to carve his own. Is he simply swapping one legendary challenge for an even deadlier one, leaving Crawford's skill behind for the raw, terrifying power of champions like Beterbiev and Bivol? This wasn't a retreat, it was a push into new, hostile territory, a bold gamble that could either cement him as a multi-division legend or shatter his flawless undefeated record. The one thing that's certain is that the monster isn't waiting for a king to give him a shot, he's out hunting for his own crown. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our future videos. Share your thoughts in the comments, stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.